I remember as a small child growing up here in Elyria, about age 7. I was in my bedroom one day listening to the radio. Dr. King came on. That was my first exposure to him. I used to love politics. And I'd watch President Kennedy. I loved the way he spoke. I loved his mannerisms. I loved everything about him as a small child. And I happened to hear Dr. King imploring people to come to Cleveland, Ohio, to a rally. He had a way of speaking, a way of saying things so eloquently, so profoundly, so intelligently, that he grabbed and moved me that day, and I quickly rushed out of my bedroom, said to my mother, I said, Mother, I want to be Dr. King. She was standing over the stove cooking. She turned back, looked at me and said, Jerome, you can never be Dr. King. You can be like Dr. King. You can be just as intelligent, just as articulate. You can be just as profound, but you will never be Dr. King. Dr. King is on a mission. He is on a divine mission, chosen by a higher power. And perhaps you will find that mission also, but you will never be Dr. King. And I will tell you to this day, I have never suffered from any delusions of grandeur. I am not Dr. King. I am not going to try to convince you that I am. And I'll explain what I'm going to try to do here in a moment. But I understand who I am fully. I have my purpose in life, and you will have yours. Everyone will find their purpose eventually. I hope you do. But I'm not Dr. King. I will not do injustice to his life's work, attempting to mimic him. I will say this, one thing I cannot stand is to see someone take the words and the work of this great man and to say them so mundanely, because he was so full of life and commitment and vitality. You know, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. He never would have said that way. When he got through painting the dream, you would have wanted to be a part of it. He'd have said it in such profound, eloquent terms that if he told you you were going to a garbage dump tomorrow, half of this auditorium would have left today in anticipation of the trip. You try to beat each other home packing. But my point is, he would have said it in such a way that it had a purpose and a meaning. And so I'm going to try to attempt in just a few minutes to capture just the essence of his spirit, to give you some sense of what it might have been like to be at one of his rallies, when the tension was so high and they knew and he knew that he could be killed at any moment, where he lived every day at tiptoe stands, not knowing what to expect next. We shall overcome in the midst of the chilly winds of adversity, standing amid the surging murmur of life's restless sea. We shall overcome in the midst of the bombing of our houses and the jailing of our children and the burning of our churches. We shall overcome in the midst of hooded perpetrators of violence coming into our communities, beating us and leaving us half dead. We shall overcome. Deep, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. With this faith, I will go out with you and hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, I will go out with you, transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood and justice. With this faith, we will be able to walk together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up together knowing that one day we will be free. This will be the day when all of God's children, black men, white men, Jews, Gentiles, Protestants, and Catholics, be able to join hands in singing the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last. Free at last.